Welcome back, everyone. I am Almedia Exum. I am here with the Anarkists. We are reviewing Lovecraft Country, Episode 7, I Am. Welcome back, the Anarchists. How are you doing?
Peace. I'm doing good. Almedia, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to dive into this episode. By far, one of my favorite episodes, other than episode 1. But I am completely in love with this episode and this story. And so I really just want to dive into it. Let's see. So the start of the episode, do you want to explain what happens in the beginning of the episode when when it first opens?
Let's see. Where's the start? I'm blanking out a little bit. How does it actually start?
It starts, so remember at the end of the last episode, so basically what happens is George and Hippolyta, they discover a key inside of the solar system model. And so they're on this journey to find out where it goes to. And Hippolyta, basically, they discover a time machine. I think it's kind of near. Let me see where it's at, because I have notes on it right here. 1 second. They discover that key and they end up finding the time machine. So the episode, I guess, starts off with Hippolyta. She visits the ruins of the lodge, right? And she discovers that George is there. She works out how to use the orrery and finds that it's a hidden key inside of it. And so from there, they go and, unlock the key to this, the time machine. They use the key to unlock the time machine. They don't really know what they're doing. And we find that Atticus and Hippolytus get sucked into the time machine. And a lot of other things are happening while this is happening as well. Mimi Renee says, I've been waiting for y'all to break down this episode. Hi.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. Peace, Ty.
Yeah, and Ty, leave us comments below of what you thought about the beginning of the episode and the whole episode overall, and what stood out to you. But overall in this episode, like, we see Hippolyta getting sucked into the time machine. We see that George is getting sucked into the time machine. I mean, Atticus is getting sucked into the time machine. We also see in the beginning how Christina, she confronts Ruby and tells her like about William, like the true things that was going on with William. And so, because remember, we last left off with like 2 episodes ago, Strange Case, with Christina shedding the skin of William and we discovering that she was William. And so in the beginning of the episode, Christina talks to Ruby and says, hey, everything I said to you in the William voice and the William body was true. And this is truly what happened to William and to the Davenport lady. They're in some type of comatose state or whatever. And so we kind of see her talking to Ruby about that, still trying to get on her good side. And she asks Ruby basically to help her with this. So those are some things that are kind of happening in the episode, while we also see that Letty and Atticus, I brought this up in another episode, but it was happening in this episode. We saw that Letty and Atticus are also, before they go on the journey, before Atticus and Hippolytus go on the journey, that Letty and Atticus are having similar dreams, except Letty's having a dream with her belly pregnant, basically. But yeah, so it's a lot going on in this episode. Do you want to talk about what you thought about Christina and Ruby talking about the corpses of the bodies, the comatose state bodies of George and of William, of William and Dell, who is the Davenport lady?
I don't think I thought too much of the scene. The only thing I will say is I got more LGBT vibes when she was just saying, everything I said as William I meant. Like, so what does that mean? I mean, you love her? What does it mean?
Exactly. What does that mean? So that it shouldn't matter that you deceived her and said you were a man and you're really a woman. Like, I just was like, what is that? Like, what are you trying to say? And I don't believe Christina. I don't believe Christina truly cares about Ruby. I just believe that she wants to use Ruby for her intentions, So
so yeah, that's all I really thought. I didn't think too much of it, obviously. But as I was proven wrong, I just thought they were throwing the actress back in there for another job. Obviously, she's still tied to it because, that was her body that she used, and we understand how this magic works. So it was interesting just to see how that was happening, how that was, understood.
So from there, like we say, we see another scene where Letty and Atticus are like having these dreams, and they find out that they're having like the same dream. Have you ever experienced that? Like I've experienced having like a similar dream, but like not the exact dream the same night. Like they had the exact dream, very similar, except in Letty's dream she was pregnant, and I think they were in fire, right? Weren't they burning in fire or something like that?
Hmm.
Which is interesting. And I think it just kind of shows like on a metaphorical level how they're connected. And now that she has his seed inside of her, they're even more connected. I don't know why they would be burning though. Why do you think? What did you think about that scene?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I know the hidden symbolism behind why they are running from the building and it's burning. Obviously, they're chasing what seems to be Atticus's ancestor. In this episode, not only does Hippolyta go on her journey as far as to figure out what happened to Uncle George, Atticus basically goes on a journey to St. Louis to learn more about his mother's side of the family, which is interesting because the last episode was Meet Me in Daegu, which they based off the movie Meet Me in St. Louis. And in this episode, he's going to St. Louis to figure out what's going on with his family. So I think they're tying things in.
Yeah, I think this is kind of interesting because in the last episode, what's her name? Gia, she was going on a journey of self discovery, so to speak, and Atticus is continuing on to his journey of self discovery in St. Louis. But go ahead. Or
Yeah,
not in
so
St. Louis. Yeah, in St. Louis, right?
yep, he basically in the scenes, basically just to kind of explain what goes on so we could talk about it. Hippolyta, obviously she's still feeling a type of way about her husband, and she feels people are being deceptive and lying to her. So what she does is she figures out how to, she has the orrery that Christina is looking for, and she figures out how to open it and get the key. So that's interesting, and she takes it in. I guess it leads her to a map, which is where she basically goes to find a time machine, which I thought was
Yes.
interesting because it looked to me like how they depict Tesla's time machine. If you guys want to go look at the movie The Prestige, which
Oh, I
is
love
dealing a
that
lot,
movie. Yeah.
yeah, if you remember that thing where he was using to clone himself or duplicate himself, that looks a lot
Hmm.
like the machine that people say was maybe the time machine that Tesla was working with. So they
Hmm.
incorporated that into here, and it was interesting how this was definitely a show to develop more of for us to see more of Hippolyta's character and how it
Yeah.
develops in this episode. But we know that she's been an astronomer, but it's very interesting to see how she was able to write and decode things to be able to actually work the time machine. And even when the racist police came in and caught her, they're like, "How'd you work this time machine?" I don't know if she had time to be like, "Well, I'm an astronomer and I'm smart as heck." So
Hmm.
she does work this time machine. And Atticus takes a bus to himself to meet some family members in St. Louis so he can understand more about his mom's side of the family and get more
And
information on
then,
that.
yeah, and I think what's also happening, Letty decides to stay back, right? She decides not
Yeah,
to go with
yeah.
him
He was going.
because,
She was going to go with Atticus to St. Louis, but when she finds out that Hippolyta actually asked Letty's sister Ruby
Ruby.
to stay behind and babysit Diana, uh, Letty, she tries to stay behind and figure out what was going on with Ruby in that time. Of course, we know she doesn't know, but and try to reconcile what was going on as far as with the
With her
house.
sister.
So
Yeah.
yep,
And
yeah.
just
So she
trying to
stays.
bond more.
Right. So she, and we kind of in that we kind of find out that she is or may be pregnant. It seems like. So but aside from that, like we said, Atticus he's traveling to St. Louis to figure out more about the family and if he can find out more stuff. He's actually looking for the book of names.
Yep.
So he's asking some family members about that. But as far as Hippolyta, she's traveled to, I don't know where she went, but somewhere, and
She
she, like
went
I said,
back to the ruins of the
no, no,
lodge.
no. As far as, because that I don't think the time machine was there, was it? It was somewhere else. She had, after she opened the orrery,
Mm,
I think she got a map to go to somewhere else,
yeah, I
or
think
was it?
so.
Oh,
I
maybe
think so.
maybe it was back. I don't
Let
know
me
because
see.
Atticus knew where she was, so maybe you're right.
Hmm.
But anyway, so after that, Hippolytus gets the time machine working. They push one cop in there. She shoots another cop, and as you said, Hippolytus and Atticus both go into the time machine. Now, I wrote actually a lot of notes down about this episode because this,
Hmm.
I will be honest with you, this is,
But
like you said,
before
Almedia,
we
one of
go,
the.
I want to hear everything you have to say. But I forgot about this. Before I don't know if it's before or after, but we see this Oh, it's before, because the time machine thing takes up the rest of the episode. So before they get there, and keep in mind remember all of your thoughts, the anarchists. I don't want to overlook. This is when Atticus knows for sure that his father is gay. There is a scene where Sammy is coming out of his father's apartment or something, and they're fighting, basically arguing, and he pulls his arm, and he's basically Montrose is telling Sammy don't go, and that's when Atticus and Letty are walking up to the door, and everyone's all like frozen, and he's like, oh, and Sammy walked off. He's like, oh, so it's been true. What did he say? He said something, you're gay, or
Called him the
you know
F word, you know.
what F? Oh yeah. So he said that, and then he got all angry and was like, don't ever call me that, and I'm still your father, or something like that. And but that aggression that Montrose was displaying, I'm like, it's not even about him calling you out of your name. It's about you being ashamed of who you are, and so we see that happen, and then we see Atticus kind of storm out, and Letty's all surprised, and he says, wow, all of this time he was beating me. Because remember, in last week's episode, we saw like Gia showing clips of his life, and it was a clip of his dad spanking him on the butt or whatever, and he was like, all this time he was beating me and stuff. He kind of insinuated like maybe there was something else going on, like every time he was whooping me and beating me and everything. What did you think about that?
Well, what I thought about that specific point was he was saying that he was beating me, and and Atticus said the whole time I thought he was beating me because he loved me and he was trying to toughen me up and make me a man and make me prepare for the world. He was saying in actuality he was beating me because, and I'm not sure if he was saying just because he was gay or he was beating me because he didn't want me to be gay. You know what I'm saying? He was, this is one of those things. It was beating me because you just frustrated because of who you are, or you beating me because you think, some part of me is you. But at the same time, he understands that that's not his son. So, maybe it is the frustrations. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that he is raising a son that's truly not his, and he's pretending to be his father. He's pretending in his relationship with Atticus's mother, and then he's forgetting like he's not even able to really be who the life that he wants to live, as a gay man. And so from there, that's when we, find out that Letty's, there's a scene where Letty finds out that she's pregnant. Atticus goes, like you said, on that journey to St. Louis to visit his relative. I think it's like his great auntie or something like that. Is it?
something.
And is told that the Book of Names was lost in the Tulsa Race Massacre in 1921, which is interesting. The book was lost in the race massacre, the massacre that happened in Tulsa in 1921. And so from there, we see that Hippolytus goes she goes to the Winthrop Observatory and uses the key. So it's like an observatory. That's where she was at. I don't know if this is like near the lodge or what, but it says it's like the Winthrop Observatory, and that's where she uses the key. Letty and Atticus find out that Hippolytus is on to what's going on, and so that's when Atticus he tries to like go after Hippolytus so that she won't be able to access the key to the portal to the time machine, which it was very weird. Like she was like in another state or something. Like how could he access her that fast? It seemed like he got to her as if he caught a flight or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like, cause he ends up trying to save her. He intervenes with the cop and everything. And they end up like going into the time machine. But I'm like, how did he get there so fast? There were no airplanes like that were commercial. Like, I don't know. I just feel like he got there super fast. And then we go into where we were talking about this whole idea of the time machine and these different universes and stuff. And please dive into what you were going to say. I just wanted to like give that backstory of what was happening in the episode.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say, I have a lot of notes about this episode because it was also co-written too. I can't remember the name of the co-writer that wrote this with Misha Green.
Shannon Houston.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of, obviously this was a very good one as well. If y'all seen the last one, which you should check out, like this. I don't know if we said it, like this video right now and go back and check out episode 6 we did a review of. I really liked episode 6, and I like episode 7 as well. I might like episode 7 more than 6, but or maybe Yeah, but this is a really good episode. I like the themes and the tropes in this one and the subject matter. I wrote down it was definitely dealing with Black woman empowerment. This was a Black woman
Yes,
empowerment episode.
yes, yes, of the universe and the stars and everything we see. This was by far my favorite episode, other than episode one. But this is by far gave me so much, woman power, Black girl power, and just as someone who loves the like the stars and the universe and astronomy, and just seeing her go on this this travel to like different dimensions and different time periods, like I was all for it. But please continue.
All right, yeah, we're gonna break this down because there's a lot. There's a lot in this episode, and it was very, very interesting. A lot to, if you're a studier, it was a lot to study, and which I'm gonna
Yes.
break down. But so yeah, what we leave off, Hippolyta goes into this time machine as well as Atticus, as well as the police, but they all go into different realms. So not only does this talk about this episode was focused around women empowerment, Black women empowerment, but this was definitely a very metaphysical episode dealing with astro traveling. Astro traveling. I actually break that down a lot. What that is a very real thing. And in my opinion, that's what Hippolyta was doing in this episode. It wasn't necessarily just time travel. This was kind of dealing with magic and in real life astro travel, which astro travel is a real thing. Please study. There's tons of videos on YouTube. But that's what she was doing when they stepped into this portal. They were astro traveling. If you notice, every time, well, of course, this episode, I'm gonna break this down. Let's break it down. We're gonna
Break
break
it
it
down, break it
down.
down.
So this is how we're gonna do it. If you notice, the first place she went was, in the cosmos. So that's how you know
Yeah.
it's astral traveling. Because if you really astral travel, what you can do, like I said, I ain't gonna talk about it right now, but it's basically something
It's
that
kind of
you
heavy, but you should definitely check out the Anarkist channel where he breaks down all of this information.
right. So but basically, she's astral traveling. She's in the stars. Who knows what planet she's on. Then she's encountered by these kind of this episode also touched on Afrofuturism, which I'm a huge fan of as well. You know what I'm saying? But there was like these beings that were seemed to be robot or it could be alien or whatever, seemed to kidnap her, and she's in this room. And what I thought was interesting was this tall black goddess looking being with this, very cool afro that basically surrounded
Goddess.
her face.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Just so, I don't know. Definitely
she was either some
Afro
sort of entity
futuristic.
or, yeah, but we don't know who she is. She comes in the room and Hippolytus doesn't know what's going on. She's like, what's going on? Let me go. The lady tells her, you not in a prison. So, she's trying to
Mm.
figure out, use her intellect and figure out what's going on, how she can get out of here. And this is why I say, and no, this is the astral realm. The lady kind of helped, it's kind of, I guess, her guide in this one. But she asks her, who are you? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? In the astral world, what you need to understand is the astral world, this is what we in the physical dimension is known as the third dimension. The astral realm is also known as the fourth dimension. It's the dimension that's not as physical, not as layered. It's an etheric version of what we live in right now. So in that dimension, which we all go to, if you close your eyes and go to sleep, you're usually astral traveling. Now, if you can pull your consciousness there, then when you come back and wake up, you will know exactly what was going on. But if not, then they'll just seem like airy fairy dreams or whatever. You may just be dreaming, but astral travel is consciously being in your mind while you're in these states. All right. So in the astral realm, what happens is if the second you think of something, you there. So once you start to astral travel, if you think of Egypt, boom, you pop right there at Egypt, wherever you was thinking of. So in this realm, when the lady asked Hippolyta, who are you? She, and what do you want to
Such
be?
a
The first thing,
powerful question to ask. Like, I was like, wow, like, ah.
yeah, she asked her. And also I want to make, just if I don't just so I don't forget it, there's a good movie on astral travel, but I can't think of the name. It's a movie starring Robin Williams. I can't think of the name right now, but I'll go back and look it up and put it in the link below. But if you want to understand astral travel by just looking at a movie, go look at that Robin Williams movie. I can't think of it, but in the movie, his wife dies. She goes to the astral realm, and he dies and goes to the astral realm as well. So in that movie, is probably the best movie I've seen to really explain what the astral realm. In it, he thinks about things and he's there. Thinks about his daughter, she's there. Thinks about people there. So in this one, when the futuristic lady asked Hippolyta, what do you want to be? First she asked, who are you? And she asked, what do you want to be? So I guess she just takes it as a joke, like, I want to be dancing in France with Josephine Baker. So at the second she says it, boom. And I want you guys to notice that as she travels, she goes into this dimension that actually looks like DNA. It goes
Yeah, like,
and it's this blue stuff, and it
yeah,
all looks like DNA.
Yeah, it's like cell, like as if her cells are transporting, like she dissolves
Yes.
into cells. And I thought that was brilliant.
Listen.
Because, okay, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
No,
please.
no, you go ahead. I don't know. I
Oh no.
just,
Basically, what that is if you do study spirituality, you do study metaphysics, astral traveling. How you astral travel? You go within. Everything is within. The whole universe is within. Y'all think I be BSing
yeah.
when I say that? That's for real. So all the
And Neil
memory.
deGrasse Tyson talks about that too. I know you don't rock with. Okay, Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about that too. The universe exists within us and without. But okay, you continue. I'm gonna stop interrupting.
He's a fraud, but okay.
No.
That concept is real. That concept is real. The whole universe exists inside of us, and there are also concepts that talk about ancestral memory being in the DNA. There's latent
Yes.
DNA in ancestral memory. So if you are spiritual, you meditate, you can access this the energy and memories of our ancestors who are in slavery, our ancestors who are in Egypt slash Kemet, our ancestors who are even beyond where we were on this planet. So that's what she's doing when she's tapping into these different. That's why I seem like she's just going to random places. At one point, well, the first place she goes to, which we'll talk about, is she, like I said, she just plays around like, oh, dancing in France with Josephine Baker, which she immediately goes to, but playing around, immediately goes there. So she's on stage dancing, she don't know what she's doing, and she sees Josephine Baker. It's called Final Cut, the movie. I think it might be that movie, Final Cut, the movie. It might be that. I'll make sure later. But thank you, Ty. So
Thank you, Ty, for that.
yeah, like I told you, my people be on it. So shout out to
Be
Ty. But
on
anyway,
it. Yeah.
so she is here in this Broadway burlesque show with Josephine Baker, the beautiful the actress who played her was beautiful. And
Yeah, looks very similar.
so she's like I said, this is a woman in power episode in France. It's like this whole woman setup show. Obviously you see a lot of lesbians there, and they're just free to do whatever you want. They look like they smoking weed or cigarettes or whatever they doing, and she's just feeling this freedom that she did not experience in the 1950s in America. But I guess this is the
Yeah.
1950s in France at that same time. So she's just kind of getting some tips from Josephine Baker. What I thought was interesting. So it is taking us through that era for the people who didn't know about Josephine Baker and what's going on with that. So that was pretty fun. It was all about women. She was talking about how empowered she was, and she actually made a pretty bold statement about how she wanted to kill the oppressors, the colonizers. But
I guess
anyway,
she was so free to be herself that she didn't have to keep a secret. Like no secrets were. It was okay to be who you were. I mean, she was this Broadway dancer and performer. And when you're an artist, you often do feel like, hey, I have to speak my truth. And at that point, I feel like when she was dancing with Josephine Baker, she was like, look, I can say whatever I want to say, because at this point, she's been living and experiencing this with Josephine Baker. And she's like, Josephine Baker is not my friend. Like I could say and do whatever. Like, and I want to make a note as we continue. It felt like she was living in that realm for a while. It felt like every realm she was living in for a while. Like it felt like almost like a lifetime of her, just until she was tired of it. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel like it was just like a day. It felt like, as we saw these different clips of her performing, it felt like it was months and weeks and maybe even like years of her just enjoying this to really,
I'm
before she
glad you
decided
mentioned
to.
that.
Okay.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Almedia, because there is someone on YouTube. Her name is Teal Swan. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't believe every single thing Teal Swan
Oh.
says.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe everything single thing Teal Swan says. But one thing I will say is she has a lot of good information and knowledge when it comes to like different aspects of metaphysics and whatnot. Like I said, take some of the stuff she says with a grain of salt. But what's interesting that she says is when she talks about how when she astral travels or her spirit, like I said, a lot of this stuff seems real out there, and I can't really believe everything she says. But when you look at some of the stuff that's facts, she really studies a lot. So that's what I can say. But she talks about her spirit going in and out of different lifetimes, and she living a full lifetime somewhere else. And I think she's mostly talking about astral traveling. If you astral travel and you just, I guess, of a really higher consciousness, you can go to some places and be there for a while, and then come back here. And it's just like you. She actually explains in one interview talking about some. Yeah, I woke up in one lifetime. I had a baby, and then I woke up in another lifetime thinking I still had the baby in my hands. After living that after like 20, 30 years. So that's interesting if you want to go into that metaphysical stuff, but you don't have to. But anyway, back dealing with this. So after Hippolyta, gets the revelation from what she does as dancing in burlesque in France with the famous Josephine Baker. She seems to get a revelation then, and then she talks about how she gets angry, and you see she's channeling things. Once she gets real angry, she then says what she says about white people, and then she goes directly into She's in Africa, and what I saw was, she's this African warrior fighting this other African warrior, right? All
She's in
females in the army
training. She's in training to
in
be,
training, and
yeah.
yeah. So when I looked at, so I'm thinking about it now, as as she was, while she was getting angry, remember that she went there. That was when she just on a whim, something that she just always wanted to do, but no, she could never ever do as George's wife. She never be in France dancing on stage, breast exposed. That just wasn't a reality for her as a black woman in 1950s America. So that was just when she got a desire, because astral travel also deal with desires. You go up there, you can do whatever you want. You could be up there with whoever you want, celebrity, whatever, it's all in your mind. So, when she went there and found just the liberation of being a black French woman and was somewhere where she can do and smoke and just be how she wanted to be, she thought about how oppressed she was back in America, and it made her angry. And she immediately went to Dahomey. She was a part of the Black Amazon warriors. Actually, the Dahomey Amazons. In history, they're called the Dahomey Amazons. They were. You hear about Amazon women? Those were the real ones. Were black women. So the Dahomey Amazon women, who are actually called the Mino or the Minan. So in history, these women who are really strong women who are known for taking down armies, African armies, and other European armies as well. Really tough women. So she's training with these women as part of a small army group. But if you really look into it, this is a real thing. You can just look up Dahomey Amazon. Like I said, these women, Dahomey is basically West Africa, is what we now call Benin. And but Dahomey was Dahomey, not the homie like me, but Dahomey was the name of that area before it's called Benin, and that's where you get Dahomey Amazons, which the Dahomey male warriors called the female military the Mino or the Minan, which means our mothers, So the male African armies kind of looked at them like, these are our mothers. And I believe that they were a better army than the males were. That's why a lot of those kings of Dahomey at the time, the Amazons, the Dahomey Amazon women were like the Secret Service to like the kings and queens. They were so good. So yeah, she gets transported to this time where as a female, she gets to express her anger. So the women are talking about, especially the leader, talking about how they tell us not to be angry. They tell us not to be this. So I like this episode because it expressed so many different aspects of women, specifically black women. She gets to go to France and be liberated, and her sexuality is just whatever she wants it to be. And when she feels anger, she's transported to Dahomey in West Africa, where she's a part of the Dahomey Amazon women.
And she gets to incite that she gets to ignite that like avenge her. It's like she gets to basically fight against people who are oppressing those people who happen to be Confederate soldiers, trying to she was able to be that warrior and express that rage. And I love that. I love everything about this episode and everything about empowering us as Black women to just be who we are, no matter what, just to be free. And so really, as we continue to go on with this, I just want to just give a big shout out to Misha Green and Shannon Houston for collaborating with this episode, because it's like my favorite episode as a Black woman looking at Hippolyta, and it makes me fall more in love with her character. I remember in episode 1, I just loved her and George, and their dynamic, and seeing how she is as a mother, and learning how she was an astronomer or is an astronomer, and her daughter, she lets her daughter be free to be who she is. And just learning more about her this episode just made me fall in love with the character even more, and just really look at her as a sister and as a mother and so many other identifiers as a Black woman. It was just so much connected. I know I wasn't the only sister watching this, and maybe other people too who aren't Black watching this, who was like, wow, I relate and identify with Hippolyta, and I am living vicariously through her. Okay, go ahead. I just want to say that.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, Almedia. I just thought this was one of the episodes, just like the episode 6, which we know wasn't really a part of the book, Mark Ruff's book, but they kind of make mention of that and just kind of went out of the way just to tell another story. But this one was another savior of the series for me, because it was just, people say it's all over the place. It's not really all over the place. If you can follow the story of what it is, they just, they do a good job of writing to take you someplace that just seems way out of the story, but still comes back and explains it all. We still know what the motivations are, but it's just Hippolyta finds a time machine, and now she gets to go back to France where she's dancing in burlesque, or go back to Dahomey, West Africa, where she gets to be fight a part of this Amazon warrior woman tribe. Which, another little tidbit, the Amazons is where they get, if you know the story of Superwoman, she was a part of the Amazon tribe. So that's where they get the story of Superwoman, as far as this, jungle of Amazon women. But of course, we know Superwoman as a white woman. But that's what we're talking about. These Mino women, our mothers, that they call them, in Dahomey, West Africa, which is Benin now. But going on, let's see what else.
I want to make a note about this whole experience with her as a warrior. When she first got there, remember, she had so much rage. Remember, but she didn't know how to hone and contain and use it to her advantage. That's why when she first got there, they were training her to be a warrior. She was able to harness that rage and really be able to fight and execute people. And I like that we saw this vulnerability when she first was trained to be a warrior, because she didn't know what she was doing. And I think that happens a lot in life, where we're angry and we're upset, but we don't really know how to harvest it, we don't know how to harness it to our best ability or whatever. So with her, I think with her, we were able to see her kind of upset and not knowing what to do with her anger, to being this warrior and being able to really slay people. She didn't know how to fight in the beginning. She didn't know. And we get this idea of another like
Wonder Woman. Okay, that was Wonder Woman. I'm sorry, I said Superwoman. Thank you, Ty. See, Ty be on it.
Thank you, Ty.
Wonder Woman. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah. I'm sorry, Almedia, go ahead.
I was going to say that this whole idea of time, that time doesn't exist when you're astro traveling. It was another sense, she was training to be a warrior for a while, and that she was in, I got this sense that she was in that reality for a while too, training and fighting and slaying Confederates and stuff, so that she got all of that blood out of her system. She never had to slay anyone in the reality that she exists in. She never had to kill anyone, but she got hundreds and maybe even thousands of people of slayings out of her system. She was able to, defeat so many warriors, so many soldiers, and fight for a cause, because back home, she was just like a mom and a wife, and she wasn't able to fight for the cause, to be at the forefront. So I love that we see her being this vulnerable woman who had all this rage, but didn't know what to do with it, to being this soldier who was able to, defeat hundreds, maybe even thousands of soldiers with her sword. And she didn't even know how to use a sword before. So I just like that.
Yep. So after that, as you said, it seems like that whole experience, which I want to just kind of relate that back over to astral traveling as well. If you really study astral traveling, what you have to do is just really get into spirituality, study the chakras, see how it lines up with other things, like the chakras line up with the Sephiras in Kabbalah, which people say, is like this line up with the planets as well. So the planet of Mars is known as the fighter planet. And I've heard some stories of people saying when they astral travel and go to Mars, that's what it kind of is. It's more, that's where more aggressive people go if they astral travel, or if they die, to get off that energy, they go to the planet of Mars, and
why? Well, I know that's a whole nother story.
I would be sitting here trying to break that down, but I just thought of that when you said that as well, because she did obviously go there to figure out some aggression in her and things. Yeah. And remember, when you astral travel, you learn in the astral realm as well. When our people die, or people we around us know die, they exist in the astral realm, and they can learn just like we learn. They, So anyway, I just wanted people to understand that. But moving on,
I want to make one more side note, and then we can truly move on. The movie that I was thinking about that deals with astro travel is Insidious. That's the movie where I kind of learned about astro travel a little bit. Have you seen that movie? It's a horror film.
Yeah, I have seen it. And if you guys don't learn about astral traveling from it, because it's just going to scare you, I just told you that's something you do every night. Your body astral travels. The only reason you don't know is because you're not focused, you're not conscious, you're not trying to do it, you're not trying to figure out what you're doing. But those are like shutdown movies, those horror movies. I like them, but you need to. I can see somebody looking at that like, well, I ain't trying to astral travel because that's how my queen is, even though she does it. I know she astral travels because she has the little what's it called? Whatever it is where you coming back into your body and you can't move your body yet. Like you getting up.
Yeah, I experienced that too. Yeah, it's called I forget what it's called.
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah, it's so scary and terrifying.
That's what's happening. Yeah, when you waking up and you like, dang, my body can't move, but I'm back in my head. It's just like that you were astral traveling. You may not remember what you were doing then, but you just know that your consciousness came back into your mind before your body was able to be animated. So we all astral travel. It's nothing to be scared of. It's just something that you do. So if we just study it, like I always tell you guys to do, instead of being scared. But that's what she was doing. That's what Hippolyta was doing, and she was learning different things, and what you can do in the astral realm. So afterwards, after she gets the aggression out with the Dahomey Amazon women, she realizes that all the stuff she did, and she still. I think the next scene she goes back with George's wife, right? She says, "I'm George's wife."
Yeah.
So she goes there. We get another scene of her in bed with her husband George, which again, that's something. That's why maybe you want to get into spirituality. I know, and I want to read Ty's remarks. She said, "My favorite part of her astro traveling was, I'm sorry, when she realized that the best part of her was being a mother and a wife, and she travels to George to take him with her." That's exactly
Yeah.
what I was about to get into, Ty. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was a very beautiful scene.
It was. It was. Just even seeing her think of him, because when it was his time to desire somebody, he remember a couple of episodes, he thought of like George's mother. But even at her heart of hearts, even when she's in different realities, even when she's astro traveling, her heart still belongs to George. And so for her to say, I am George's wife, like that's, she loved him to the core. And she realizes that, hey, I guess I can visit him here. And for her to be sitting up in the bed with him, and like that's, and that whole conversation just gave me life. It just, I love seeing love. I love seeing black love. I love seeing older black love, and Courtney B. Vaughn and Anjanou Ellis do a great job at showing us beautiful seasoned love, like older love. And I love that whole scene. You were gonna dive into that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think the whole story was definitely interesting how they did weave in black women empowerment, how black women, because Misha Green and Shannon Houston were absolutely right. Black women are so diverse in who they are. I don't think we should get, because Hippolyta was saying when she was the war, or I don't think Hippolyta was saying it, I think the woman who was training her said it. They like to use y'all quote unquote anger against y'all, and they don't like to, they don't. But when you study people like the Dahomey Amazons, you realize that's black women using that anger and that power in a good way. But also you have black women who are sexually liberated, and that's why they do burlesque shows. I felt like that you can juxtapose that to like strippers now, which a lot of people like the anarchist. You is in my head. Yeah. So we all listen. We all connected, Ty. We all connected. But anyway,
Yes.
So when she went to France, and I think some people look at it, oh, you got lesbians here, you got women showing their breasts, but that's the liberated form of the black woman. She don't have to do what you say. She don't have to stay in this little mini skirt like she was back in 1950 Chicago. I can be on stage shaking my thing, dancing, what I love to do. And after she experienced that, she experienced being enraged and being a warrior. And after she just, that came around full circle, and she realized, I'm this man's wife. And that's where I really really wanted to be in life. I didn't,
But
because remember,
she still had to address her concerns about the relationship.
yeah,
And
which I'm
once
gonna
she
get
was
into.
okay.
I'm gonna get
All
into,
right.
but I just wanted to say, because when she was in the burlesque show, she was saying, "Oh, I just felt depressed and this, that, and the other," which I'm pretty sure that didn't, as far as the systemic racism, white supremacy, all that. But I think she kind of understood, like, I could be all these things, and all these things are in me, but I did enjoy being a wife to my husband and a mother to my child, because it was a beautiful family. So yeah, and then in the astral realm, which obviously we know Uncle George is dead, she's in the astral realm, so they spirits can meet and talk. So she was able to tell her about her experiences, her breakthroughs as an astronomer, her travels, and Uncle George is sitting there listening. That's just beautiful. A couple just sitting there talking
It
about their
was.
experiences. And he asked, which I thought was interesting. So after she explains it to him, he was like, "So is this real? Am I here?" And I thought it was interesting, her response, because she said, "I don't know, but blah blah blah." And I don't know how much the writers understand about this, but just to give y'all this, the astral realm is not real. It's not real, just like this realm is not real in reality. I have a show talking about, the real God and reality and all that stuff. So just like how we say this is the Matrix, this is not real. We are real spirits, and we're spirits, having a human experience. None of this is real. We're gonna die, and then we're gonna go back to our real spiritual life. So we think it's real. We go about our day like it's real. We have our relationships. It's not really real. So just above this one, the fourth dimension, the astral realm, that's not real either. That's just the euphoric realm of this. So So me knowing that, I'm like, well, this whole realm is a matrix, and that realm is a matrix too. So how are they going to treat this? She says, I don't know, but she basically says something along the lines as, but let's just stay in the moment, or I'm happy about this, or I'm happy about that, which is cool. Like I said, you get into real spirituality, you're supposed to kind of, because it was saying another thing too, because at like really towards the end when she was speaking towards the Afrofuturist woman lady again, she was, I want to mention this too, because then when she went to the little realm, she had a little thing on her arm, which could have been, they talking about the mark of the beast, 666, whatever. That could have
I
just
thought
been
it was
something. She
a
had a little,
chip. I thought it was a microchip.
right. So I'm saying,
Mm.
like, she was, the way they incorporated that, the lady was telling her, oh, you don't need that on your arm anymore. You can join our society.
You
Obviously, she's
have
some sort of,
graduated to like, like, or something, like you have integrated into our system or something, she said.
right.
To be,
So I'm just
mm-hmm.
bringing up for a second that she was wearing some sort of arm chip. So people think of that market to be 666. That could be J.J. Abrams in there, whatever, with his little stuff. But it was
And
interesting
also,
because
wasn't side note, wasn't Wesley Snipes in that movie Demolition Man? Didn't he have a chip in his arm or no?
I'm not sure if I remember that. So I don't
Okay.
want to say I'm not sure if it's been a while since I seen that movie. I just remember some of the mind control stuff and whatever. But I don't want to dwell on that. I just noticed that when I first seen that she had something in her arm, I'm like, to me that reminds me of, that looks like a chip, and we know about what's going on with chips now with vaccine. So I don't want people to overlook that. But they did overlook it in the story, and she was like, oh, that chip you don't need anymore, you can integrate in our society. She decided to go back to Earth. Now metaphysically, when you die, you only hang out in the astral realm when you have these ties to Earth. So if you like her, would you like, my daughter needed me? That's if you die. She didn't die. She was just in the astral realm. But she could probably, if she wanted to join the army, she probably would have just, or joined the alliance or whatever she was, the ancestors. I pretty much think that lady was representing, or spirits, the spirit realm. She could have probably died and went there. You know what I'm saying? But she decided to come back to Earth, come back to the unreality to, I guess, live it out for her daughter, whatever. So you can take that how you want to take it, but it's just like, spiritually, I think people might say, you may want to move on, especially after you're dead. Not if you're in that situation where you're just astral traveling, but because if you're astral traveling, you can't die. People try. They try to, you have a silver cord with you, and it's actually people with books that try to break the silver cord while they're trying to astral travel.
What about people who go into a coma though and they don't wake up from
They
their
will be
dream?
astral traveling. That's what they will be doing. They will be astral traveling, basically.
But you're saying like people can't die, so like
I
sometimes
mean,
people pass
what they
away.
die from is not
Mm,
necessarily what they're doing in the astral realm. It's what's going on
mm,
with them physically. Like if we pull the plug on their ass,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
or
I
if,
just
so I'm just saying, if you just, because I want people to really understand this. If you
mm,
astral travel, there is no way you can go to sleep right now, astral travel, and die in the astral world, and you be dead in the real world.
mm.
Okay, that's not possible. But when you die, you go to the astral realm. So what I'm trying to get people to understand is, when you do that, the reason why in Egypt they have the whole thing about being dying, the whole book of the dead, you weighing your heart against the feather. That whole thing is weighing your heart is how much baggage do you have on earth that keeps you down here. So that's the whole concept of ghosts, people who just have so much, they love their house or they love their family, or they just have so much baggage left on earth that they couldn't move on. So your heart is heavier than a feather. So
Mm.
you have to go. So that's this whole concept. But I don't know how well the writers knew it, and they, like I said, the way they explained it is Hippolytus goes back to Earth, but she's not dead. I just want people to understand, you die and you're in the astral realm. Try to let go and release stuff so you can move on to another realm. Because remember, this is a matrix. It's not real. We're here for the memories. So you're going to take that
Mm.
with you. But if you feel like you have unfinished business, you're going to come back. And that's where you get into reincarnation after you die. So,
Wow, you guys have to definitely check out the Anarkist Channel to just dive into deeper things that he discusses. Really make sure you check out his channel, subscribe, get you a Truth Seeker shirt, and just to go in deeper with what he's talking about now, visit his channel. He does tons of videos and lives, just breaking down what's really going on and telling you the truth about what's going on out here. Continue. Just want to say that.
yeah, so yeah, I just want to just break that down because people should really, really go into astral travel. I know they was touching on this film. I'm not sure how well the writers, I'm not sure if they astral travel, how well they know about it, but it's interesting stuff. And I don't want you guys to be just swayed by movies and thinking what happened in the movie is going to happen to you. Really, there's
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of books, a lot of science on it. I think Astral Traveling by Robert Bruce is a really good book. And I may link it
Okay.
down as we'll both put it as an affiliate link on our page. So click that book, Astral Traveling by Robert Bruce. So after that, I thought what's interesting is because in that Robin Williams movie, which Ty put down the thing, but I'll make sure that I put in the link. In the Robin Williams movie, they say that you can go to realms in the astral world that's not even like physical realms. So
Hmm.
Hippolyta goes into the realm that her daughter created through her comic book. Remember?
Oh yeah, I thought that was very interesting. And she took that blew my mind. How could she take George from another reality and bring that memory or that version of him into a new reality?
Because that's
Like I
all.
was
Every single thing
mind
is
blown.
happening. Listen to me. Every single thing is happening in her mind. All right.
Mm.
And we all share. We all are connected. Okay. But it's all her reality. It's all happening to her. You know what I'm saying? So obviously Uncle George is deceased, so those spirits are able to connect in the astral world, which that's what it looks like. It looks like, but that's how she's perceiving it. He could be perceiving it in a whole nother way. That's how she's perceiving their interaction in the spirit world
She better
through
not be perceiving it with Atticus's mother. That's so unfair. Like he needs
no,
to be
I
dreaming of her or manifesting. I know we're going
I
heavy into this, but this is decoding and reviewing, breaking down this week's episode. So please continue, the anarchist.
Yep, the best way I can explain that is, like I said, she's an astral realm and he's an astral realm based on the fact that he passed. Spirits in the astral realm can communicate with each other, but not like how we're communicating, so we're just talking in the same realm. They communicate where if they are talking to each other, in her perception is going to be how she wants to see it, how she sees him. So first she saw him in their room, probably where she feels comfortable with him. When he wakes up with her every day, and she woke up with him. What you looking at, George Freeman? So that's where she feels comfortable, and that's where she want to speak to him in her realm, in her perception. His perception it's still because he's talking to her, he's not talking to anybody else, but it may be in another location that he feel more comfortable with his perception. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it could
Mm-hmm.
have been maybe in his bookstore where she's helping out, and that's where they having the conversation. But it's always going to be how it's the same way in reality, where we could be talking and you thinking like the anarchist don't know what I'm talking. He's somewhere else. He ain't even perceiving what I'm saying right now. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just to explain that. But anyway, I thought it was interesting too because, like I said, in the astral realm, you can literally, that's where you create worlds. So
Mm.
they decided to go and she take her memory of Uncle George and bring it into this realm that her daughter created of the comic book.
And think about it, even though she was a little bitter at like how she felt like he held her back, she had unconditional
Oh yeah,
love for this man. Unconditional love to where when she decided, she said, I am Hippolyta and the explorer. I am Hippolyta, the discoverer. She could have went by herself, but she wanted to share who she was with him, even in that existence, even in that reality. So I thought that was just kind of profound and just showed just like how we as women, and especially we as Black women, just have like unconditional love. Like she felt like she was held back, she couldn't be who she was, and even though they confronted that, she could have been like, well, I confronted that, resolved that, now let me go on by myself. But she was like, whatever I am, I want to experience it with George. And she took him, and I thought that was just so beautiful. But
it
continue.
was, it was. Yeah, so that was pretty, after she experiences that realm, like I said, she goes back to the Afrofuturist woman who I thought was beautiful, big, beautiful afro, and I like that
Yeah.
aspect of the
But
story as
before
well.
that, like you said, the reality of Diana, she was Diana's character, and I just love seeing them explore like in the water and all these different like
Oh yeah.
alien animals and stuff, and how she looks over at George while she's discovering stuff, he's discovering stuff, and how it looks like she's at peace and in heaven. Like this is who I am, and my man is by my side. Like I just love that whole thing. Like I love all of that they're able to be like these astronomers and these like visiting these different planets, and that she knows that because he's also like a scholar in his own right. Like this man goes with her. And I love all of that. I know I'm like really going into detail about that. I just really think that it was nice that they showed George also like looking at the animals and plants or whatever he was looking at on these different planets, and that they made a decision as a team to make sure that she brought George with her, versus like her going off by herself. Because it shows that, she could be this woman with a lot of power, but she still wants to have this man by her side, this imperfect man. So yeah, that's all. I'm really going on about that because I love this episode and I love their dynamic and I love seeing them again. I missed seeing Hippolyta and George together.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so then, like you said, she goes out of that reality after spending time in that realm with George, and then she goes back into like what looks like outer space, just a regular outer space or something, and she sees the woman Afro giant woman, like she's about 5 times bigger or taller than Hippolytus. And then what happens?
So, like I said, she encounters this woman and she lets her know that you don't need the things on your wrist anymore, which I was like, is the chip B666. I don't know. But you don't need that. You can integrate with us, which is, I interpret that as just going on to the ancestor realm, the great, that she could be interpreted as the great mother, that black woman, which a lot of the African religions and spiritual systems believed in, the supreme being a female and instead of a male. A lot of ancient Africans, at least. So that, I think that could represent that. But afterwards, she lets her know, like, I still need to go back to Earth because Diana needs me. So she goes and gets back into the realm where does she go? Because I know Atticus comes
we
back.
don't see. That's the interesting
We don't know
thing.
where she goes. Yeah, we
Yeah,
know
which
Atticus.
is interesting because she said, if I don't want to do this, can I still go back to my Earth or whatever? She was like, yeah, you can. So which she's battling with that because she's like, how could I be all of this in that Earth? And I love that because it's basically saying the beings that we are with the God, like the God presence that we have with within us, the light and the power that is within us. How can we be all of that on this planet that's trying to contain us and oppress us and everything? I thought that was just so cool. Like every human has like a light in them, has this star power within them, and so she decides, hey, I've lived enough in these realities. I'm going to go back and Diana needs me and stuff. And so she says she can go back. But like you said, Atticus jumps out of the portal, or I don't know if he jumps out. He comes back from the portal with a book in his hand. And he, I don't know why he did this, but he took the key out of the time machine, which turned it off. I know the police were coming and stuff, but he turns it off. So Hippolytus is trapped into this time portal thing. And so you see a glimpse of the police officer that was shot with Diana's magazine, Diana's drawing that had her mother as a spaceship or whatever, as an astronaut or whatever. And you see that it says Diana on it, like Diana Freeman. So I'm like, these police are gonna go try to find Diana. Like, and also, like, how could he just leave Hippolytus, unless maybe he thought she had already left or something. But I'm like, how you just gonna run out of here only thinking about yourself? So selfish, just so selfish. Like you just only thinking about yourself, and he just gonna turn. I'm glad he took the key, but I'm like, how could you leave Hippolytus? Like how could you do that? I'm so mad at him and so disappointed. Like, don't leave her. But it's done. He left her. So I don't know how she's gonna get out of this reality. I don't know, like unless there's another way to get out, or unless he's going to come back and turn the key and open it up for her. But she decided she wanted to come back, but we do not see her come back. So is she trapped there? And that's how that episode ends. He grabs it. We see he has a book in his hand, and we find out that the book is darn, I forget the name of the book. He had a book in his hand.
It said Lovecraft, but that's all I saw was Lovecraft.
Yeah, but it said written by George Friedman or something like that. It was very interesting. Like, instead of being written by Lovecraft, it said written by like George Friedman or something. I gotta look back and see. It said either George Friedman or somebody Friedman, some Friedman. It said somebody, and I gotta look back into that. Well, maybe we'll talk about it next episode or something if I find out what it said. But yeah, so that's that episode. By far my favorite episode. I love the actress Anjanou Ellis, like in this role. You did a phenomenal job. It was so great to see George again. Courtney B. Vons is an amazing actor, and I love seeing their love. The other things that we saw, like Ruby and Letty trying to build a relationship again. I like that dynamic of trying to rebuild this sisterhood and just this bond. I thought it was interesting, like I said, that it's out in the open that Montrose is gay. I thought that was interesting, and I want to see how that adds to the story, if it does add to the story. And I'm just really excited about this whole idea of time travel in space and just being able to go in these different realities and experience this. Because we do that when we're dreaming. Like we dream of ourselves in different type of realities all the time. And as you say, astro travel, you know? And so I thought it was just so exciting to see Hippolyta take all these different journeys and experiences and basically make her a grandmother herself. Like she's lived a lot, you know, and now she's ready to be a mom again. And I think she's going to bring, if she ever gets out of this time machine, who knows? If she does, I think she'll add, bring a lot more to value to the story, to her daughter. She's going to view things in a different perspective. And I wonder just how that's going to go. So, any thoughts about that before I just ask a few questions and we wrap up?
I just, I enjoyed this episode as well. I am, which obviously is dealing with, you deal with I ams all the time as a motivational speaker.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah,
the affirmations. That's why I was like, the episode is called I Am. I am that I am. Like you manifest, just like how she manifested. I'm getting excited, you all. But I'm really into motivation. And when I heard the episode was called I Am, and I saw this journey Hippolytus went on, me and the anarchists know the power of like meditation and just manifestation. Like if you meditate on something, you see it in your mind, you visualize it, you can manifest anything. I
and
always say this.
affirmations.
Yeah, and affirmations. Yes, and affirmations. Like when you say I am, you know, you visualize it, you meditate on it, and then you just say it aloud. These things, you can do anything, you all. I'm a believer in that. I'm really big on motivation. Something I always say with Seti, with my boyfriend Seti, is we have life motivations and individual motivations for ourselves. Like we have affirmations for ourselves. And so I always say God, the universe, loves us and is taking care of all of our wants and needs. That's just something we say in our life, like our daily motivation and in our life motto. And we're always doing I am this, I am wealthy, I am I am all that I am. Like I ams are powerful. So I love that they did this for her, that she was able to harness the power of I am and do and be anything she wanted to be. I am here for this episode. I loved it. I know that was
Oh
a lot,
yeah.
y'all, but this is who I am. So I am that I am. So this is a no-brainer, but who was your favorite character in this episode?
Well, I don't know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
So many to choose from. I'm gonna just go with Hippolyta. How about that?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Like it's between Hippolyta and Hippolyta. Yeah,
Have you
so
seen the episode of the Dave Chappelle where he did the bad boy rapper? Who's the greatest rapper alive? Dylan, 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 Dylan. Who was the best actress? Who was the best character in this TV series or TV show? Hippolyta, 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 and Hippolyta.
yes, yes. All versions of Hippolyta. Hippolyta as a dancer next to Josephine Baker. Hippolyta as an African warrior. Hippolyta as this discoverer with George and these different planets and realms. Hippolyta, the mom and the wife of George Freeman and the mother of Diana and the astronomer who named a comet. Oh my gosh, I love it. I
Can you
love it.
speak to, what I wanted you to talk about real quick, if you can?
Mm-hmm.
As we talked about before, obviously there's a lot of nudity, a lot of sex in these HBO TV shows, especially this one, Lovecraft Country. But
Mm-hmm.
what do you think is going through an actress like that when she has to go through these sex scenes? And the sex scene that they had in the episode one was very, it was kind of it wasn't very vulgar, but she's nude in this, in a lot of this in this TV series. So is that just something you got
Yeah.
to prepare for as an actress, or?
Yeah, you do. And like I said, like she's a seasoned actor, so she's gotten to the point to where she's comfortable with it. I don't think I've ever had to be nude in the scene. I think I did a scene where I had to be in like a bathing robe, like a bathrobe, but I've never had to be nude or anything. But I mean, me personally, I would be terrified. Like, and some people, like I remember watching interviews from like Kerry Washington talking about like sometimes like you still get nervous. Some people still get nervous, even if you've done it 100 times, you still get nervous. For me, you know, I remember I did a play where I had to make out with I don't think I did any like indie films where I had to make out with anybody, but I know I did a play. I can't remember. I gotta look at my resume and remember what I did. But like I did a play where I had to make out with somebody, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous, and and I really had to convince myself, like, okay, like I have to really be convincing that I'm in love with this person. And I was just like really, really, really nervous about it. And but it grew me as an artist, like, because it's not about me, it's about the character, and I have to dive into their world. And so I love that Ingenue Ellis's body is not like uh, a model's body, and that we were able to see a natural woman's body, flaws and all, and just able to embrace that beauty of that, because her body isn't like, you know, some sports model body. You know what I mean? Like, it was
Right.
just a natural woman's body, you know. And I love that she was comfortable enough to do that. You know, I wonder if she knew she was gonna be open. She was gonna have to do all of that, but you know, her and Courtney B. Vons. And Courtney B. Vons is married to the great Angela Bassett. She's done all types of makeout scenes and sex scenes. And I'm like, he probably has too. They look really young, but I think they might be, I know they're like either in their 50s or 60s. I think she's in her 60s, which you wouldn't even believe that Angela Bassett and her husband are in their 60s. But so I say that to say they've been in the business a long time. They're used to doing all these scenes. But I don't know, maybe people like that seasoned actors still get really uncomfortable. I mean, I, you know, get nervous just thinking about, like, you know, being, you know, nude in a scene, you know, and I've grown to embrace my body, but just to be these makeout scenes, and a lot of it is camera angles. You know, a lot of it is camera angles that it really convinces you. But I've seen films where I'm like, no, they look like they are having like sex, like, you know. So you never know, but I think it's just a lot of just getting comfortable with the actor that you're doing the scene with. And you know, they have people coaching you, and you know, like, it depends on the set. Like, everything's different, but like, it's people around, like directors and stuff, to where you're supposed to feel comfortable. And these are seasoned actors who are at the top of their A game. So yeah, I don't know how to approach it other than just like preparing and feeling comfortable with the actor. But I just imagine it being scary, you know, especially some of these scenes that they're doing. It's really like, in other episodes, like, you see them doing all types of scene. Like, imagine the scene, and we're gonna get back to this episode, but imagine the scene in the Strange Case episode with Ruby all bloody and all skinned up having a sex scene with William. And like, I'm like, this is like so awkward and weird. But I guess you take yourself out of that and just embrace the character and the story, you know. Thanks for asking
Okay.
that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I just
um
thought, you know, because and to just to piggyback off what you said, like, yeah, I'm glad too. It's not just like this copy and paste standard body, which obviously don't really exist in everybody in real life. I'm glad it is a regular, natural black woman's body, and the character's body is not even that bad. You know, to be those years, I'm
yeah.
like, that's not that bad. I'll milf that. I milf that, gilf that. You feel me? So
Yeah,
hope
you
I'm
know
not
what I
sounding real
noticed?
perverted.
And you know what I noticed? Courtney B. Vons' body, I think he had like a belly or something. But nobody cared. It wasn't about like what the body looked like. It was about their connection together. And so I'm like, this is an older guy. Like, when you see love scenes happening in a lot of movies, they don't tend to do older couples love scenes. It's hold on 1 second. Oh, the door open. I thought somebody was astro trap. Let me stop. um, but when you see older love scenes, well, you don't really see them. You see people who have perfect bodies with abs and everything. But when you see George with his belly in the opening scene, or one of the scenes in the first episode, he's making love to this woman who's a little thick, round shaped or whatever, you know, Hippolytus. I'm like, okay, it's not about that. Like, they actually love each other, and we're seeing, and maybe HBO is known for that. I don't watch a lot of HBO shows. I guess I need to watch more. But maybe they just do a lot of sex scenes where it's just like regular people in their bodies and stuff. You know, who knows? Who
I think they
knows?
was doing that with Girls. I don't know if that's HBO, but that the white
Girls?
feminist show Girls. Yeah, you remember
No, I haven't seen it.
that?
You know, I watch a
Well,
lot of like. It takes a lot for me to like watch a television show, because most times I'm just like, you know, preparing and trying to, you know, prepare and audition for stuff. So I don't really have time to watch stuff unless I'm researching a show that I may have an audition for or something. But I don't
okay.
um I don't really watch too much. But stuff like this, shows like this and other shows, I'm gonna get more into it, because I do want to do more reviews, because as an artist, I know, and you know, just the fun of just breaking down narratives. Because when you're dissecting, and for you as a like doing film and directing, you know, like, half the fun is dissecting the film and breaking down the intention so that everyone knows what's going on. And for me as an artist, it's like, okay, I love storytelling. you're breaking down the story anyway. Why not share your thoughts, with an audience? So yeah. Now, last question I want to ask: what is your prediction for next week's episode? Who knows? Who knows? But what is your prediction?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I just hope. Let's see, just based on what I'm seeing, predictions, I predict maybe Christina will come back in that episode or the next, as far as
Christina?
popping up with, yeah, well, what she,
Why?
because obviously this has something to do with her. She's chasing the orrery which Hippolyta found, and now Atticus has the key to the time machine, which is obviously what she was looking for. So I'm pretty sure she's going to come back around now that they have access to that. Maybe that's how Hippolyta comes back, because obviously Atticus did not know how to operate the time machine, and I feel how you feel. Like, yeah, why did he just leave her hanging like that? But at the end of the day, you hear sirens coming. You're a black man. Here go a white man dead. Get out of there. You know what I'm saying? You could probably
Ah.
come back and see what you need to do. But
But
you're
what
not
if
about
they
to.
torture her when she comes out, like, because you left her? Well, they can't torture her because she has the key. Never mind.
Right, right. I figure he in his plan. He's like, I'm gonna shut this thing off. I got the key. Well, as soon as the coast is clear, I'll come back and figure this thing out. And who knows? He may need help from someone else, because, like I said, the only person who really seemed to know how to work it was the astronomer, black woman Hippolyta. So I guess I figure she'll come back just based on that. Maybe Christina understands how to work the time machine, and maybe Atticus can. I don't know. So I figure she'll probably come, because I know she has something to do with it. So she got to come back at some point, and that's what she was looking for. So, but obviously Hippolyta. Hopefully we get to see more of George. I don't know if it's going to be astral traveling, or if it's going to be him showing up as a ghost, as he did in the Holy Ghost episode, or what it
You
is.
think they'll
But
bring him back? I would love for them to bring back George. But I just think they're going off the story so much. They're going off in a different direction, to where like nothing in the story, because in the book version George never dies. It's a lot of stuff that's happening here that just didn't happen. So I'm like, how, like, they could maybe bring him back with Christine doing some magic or something,
or even if
but
they don't bring him back, that they show more of him. Maybe if she goes back to the astral realm or astral
hmm
travel with them, or like I
yeah.
said, he either comes back as a helpful ghost or whatever is going on. I just want to, I want to foresee his presence in a
Yeah,
movie.
I
Like I
do
said,
too.
I figured that they would do this where either he's a ghost or they astral traveling, where Hippolyta could go back and he could be in more scenes. So I don't necessarily need them to bring Uncle George back, although I hope they do, if they do, if they have the capability. But just him more as more of an, because yeah, he's obviously a big influence on Atticus's searching journey. They always reference him. Uncle George will know what to do. So hopefully
hmm
he does, kind of come back as far as like a helping hand to what Atticus and Letitia is, their journey.
Yeah, I really need for George and Hippolyta to like be together again. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I like that. I like the love and the family unit they have, the stability they bring for Diana and for Atticus and for Letty. Like, I feel like everybody like likes Uncle George, and that he's resourceful. He's resourceful. Like, and so I don't have any prediction other than like, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen next episode, but I hope that they find a way to get Hippolytus out of the time machine or back into this realm of reality. And
Mm.
that's the only thing. That's the only thing I can think of, is that they do something to get her out of there. And you know, yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So yeah, you all, this is episode 7 of Lovecraft Country. We have reviewed, talked about our reactions, and decoded episode 7 of Lovecraft Country, entitled "I Am." I am that I am that I am. Hippolytus did an awesome job, like just us getting to know her character more. Like, I love this episode. I am Almedia Lee Exum. This is the Anarkist here. Follow his channel, subscribe and like this video and all of our videos. If you haven't watched our reviews, go back and watch all of our reviews, and then we're going to be going into episode 8, talking about that, and then we'll be diving into more episodes as they come out. I just want to give a quick shout out again to the Anarchists for just really breaking things down, sharing your knowledge with us. I also want to make sure that you all definitely go and buy a t-shirt from him, or a mug, or a phone case, or a bag. entitled Truth Seeker. Go to his page. He has links to his t-shirts and his merchandise. Also visit MP Detail. That's MP Detail. That's my personal detail, a detailing company in Chicago, a mobile detailing company. They come to you if you need your car detailed. If you need anything done to your car, visit mpdetail.com or my personal detail on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. Make sure that you get you some shine on your vehicle. They make your vehicle shine and restore it back to life. They detail it or do standard car washes and everything you need done. That's one of our sponsors. So make sure you check them out if you have a car and you need it detailed or cleaned at all. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I'm going to let the anarchists have the last word, but I just want to say thank you all for tuning in and being a part of this conversation and discussion with us today. If you're interested in any type of motivation, I do Happy Life Day Motivation. That's the name of my motivational channel. Well, the podcast that I do on the channel. And I just encourage people to like enjoy every day, because every day that we are living is a day to be happy. And that's what I say. That's my thing that I say. And so go to my channel and check that out if you're interested. And I'm going to be doing more reviews and more things. You can dive into my world if you want on my channel, but make sure you go and support the anarchists and learn more about the truth of what's going on out here. The anarchists will fill you in on that. This isn't our last review. Stay tuned for more reviews with us. Remember to have a happy life day. And the anarchists, please close us out.
All right, y'all. You know who it is. It's your boy, the Anarchist. It was a fun episode. Hope you guys, learned a lot. And speaking of learning, like I said, I wrote down a few things. If you enjoyed this episode and you just want to learn more about what they were talking about, you guys should obviously look up Astro Traveling and over on Almedia's channel, which you should like this video and also subscribe to her channel if you're over there. In her description, she'll have a link to Astro Traveling by it'll be in the description. I believe it's Astro Traveling by, I have the book, but it's PDF form. Robert Bruce. Astro Traveling by Robert Bruce. Go get that book if you want to understand what is astro traveling. And also, I believe he teaches you how to astro travel in that book, how to just quiet your mind enough and meditate to the point where you know how to astro travel. So check out that book and check out some videos first on YouTube on astro traveling. Also, check out Afrofuturism, because I believe that was a heavy influence on this episode. Obviously, Afrofuturism, which is a real thing, is basically Black Africans, the foundational Black Americans, just Black people as, Africans ourselves, get into Afrofuturism. Futurism, talking about future stuff. That's in art, that's in movies, and that's in TV shows like this one. That's what it's a part of. And it's a real huge movement, you know what I'm saying? Especially out in New York and places. So Afrofuturism. Also check out and look up the Dahomey Amazons, also known as the Mino or the Menon. Because these are the real true Amazon women, like my girl Ty said, the basis of Wonder Woman. Remember, if you know the story of Wonder Woman, she come from some sort of jungle with Amazon women, strong, powerful Amazon women. These are real women, Black women. So if you want to study that, go study the Dahomey Amazons. Bad, yes. Bad women, you feel me? So yeah, just go do that. And like I said, like this episode and subscribe. Peace to all y'all, man. I'll see you guys Sunday. We'll do another couple live Sunday, and we'll get ahead and now start reviewing this stuff as it comes out. So stay tuned for episode 8, episode 9, review and decoding. And for those of you who rock with me for my Sunday lives, go check out this Sunday's live. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet. I kind of got a feeling, but it's going to be powerful. So like I said, if y'all over here on my channel, go over to Almedia's channel, hit like, and also subscribe, because she has really good motivational content. Don't forget to check out mpdetail.com as well. They sponsoring these reviews. So peace to all the truth seekers, man. Y'all keep seeking truth, keep seeking knowledge. All right, now we'll see you guys next time. Peace.